As I continued to look at my family through healed eyes, I started to understand something that was once confusing to me. So, when I was growing up, I had a cousin and an aunt who had a really close relationship that I deeply envied. They were close in a way that I had never experienced. They slept in the bed every night, they held hands, they always talked to each other. They moved through life as a unit, and because I was someone who grew up in life without a mother, it didn't seem strange to me. It felt loving, it felt safe, and it was something that I wished I had. It wasn't until recently that I was going through my healing process that I understood the full context. My aunt's son raped several of my female cousins. Everyone in the family knew what he did, and not only was it known, it was minimized, spiritualized, and ultimately erased. He was praised, he was protected, and he was loved by everyone. Even the victims maintained close relationships with him because they didn't feel like they had a choice. In family systems like this, connection is conditional. You get to belong as long as you stay quiet. You're safe if you don't disrupt the system. So one of the female cousins ended up speaking out, and instead of being met with protection, she was met with threats. She was told that if she was lying, she was going to be punished, beaten, sent away. So a family meeting was called, and she was essentially put on trial. So now she's praying to herself that the other girls would stand up, because if she stood alone, then all of the consequences would fall on her. When the other cousins spoke up and confirmed that it happened to them too, the threats disappeared and it turned into a completely different narrative. It's okay, he's sorry, let's pray about it, and we're gonna go to church. He admitted to the abuse, said it happened because it was done to him first, and that explanation became closure. Accountability was replaced with prayer, and harm was reframed as a moral lesson. And the family moved on. There was no repair, no safety, and no justice. Even now, after his death, he's still spoken of in a very positive light. This is how dysfunctional systems survive. They don't deny harm, they absorb it and neutralize it. They redistribute the cost to the most vulnerable people in the room. And this is where my aunt's life makes sense to me in a way that it never could before. She publicly defended her son, but she privately built her entire life around protecting her daughter. She kept her close always. She slept with her, she held her, she watched her. She chose relationships that kept men at a distance. She only dated married men and was judged for that. A behavior that once was labeled as reckless, I can now see it as strategy. If a man was married, he didn't live with her. He didn't have unrestricted access. He had to leave and go home. He also had to come to her, and she could always see what was happening. She could have intimacy without exposure. She could have companionship without surrendering control. She could also have connection without risking her child's safety. My aunt didn't heal her trauma, but she organized her entire life around preventing it from happening again. In family systems like this, protection and harm often coexist. Love and danger live in the same house, and silence is framed as loyalty. Children learn very early on that safety comes from adapting and not from being protected. Healing allows me to see this now without denial, romanticizing it, or excusing it. Understanding the system doesn't erase the damage it caused. It does explain how deeply trauma can shape parenting, family loyalty, relationships, and faith. And seeing it clearly is how cycles can finally stop.